You're watching NFL Daily, powered by Chat Sports. I am the one and only Tyler Jones here with you. It is mailbag time. We are asking for your questions across the National Football League. In particular, I want some trade ideas today. This comes from our live show that we do on Thursdays, where people submit questions to us. We react to them live as people use the hashtag NFL and Super Chat. And we'll get started with our mailbag in just a moment. Before we do, bosses put a challenge out there for us. They want to know, can we get 20 subs off today's video? We're your off-season headquarters here at NFL Daily. Just because the draft is over doesn't mean we're slowing down. We're still going to bring you the news and rumors you need to know each and every day. We're also talking rookie minicamp, OTAs, counting you down to training camp and more. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/chatsportstv. It was almost promoting our Seahawks channel, which you should subscribe to that too. Subscribe now and we'll get started with today's show. Sark After Dark, all gas, no brakes, wants to know, do you think DK Metcalf gets traded, and could a team like the Ravens be interested? So let's kind of set the scene for you here as far as a potential trade for DK goes. Based on his contract situation, okay, DK would, if he's traded, be a post-June 1 trade, just based on the way the money lines up for Seattle of what he's owed and what they could clear off the books. So, in theory, DK is not getting traded tomorrow. So if he's getting traded at all, it would be after June 1. All right? So that's the first part. Number two, the Seahawks are in an interesting position because the way Tyler Lockett's contract is structured, this is probably his last year in Seattle. You got I think it's going to be a superstar young receiver in JSN there. And then you got DK there as well. I think for the Seahawks, with bringing in a new head coach in Mike McDonald, one of their objectives was the fact that this team underachieved this past season. They did not play to their full potential and full expectations. I think that they want to get the most out of this team and want to have all they can out of DK Metcalf and this entire receiving core for one last go at it, if you will. So I don't think the Seahawks are trading DK Metcalf. If he were to hit the trade market, if he wants out, or the Seahawks do depart from him, Baltimore is going to be one of the first teams that comes to mind right away. I think that Baltimore would be a good fit for what they're looking for of receiver talent. DK seems to make sense, but I just don't think the Seahawks are trading him. So let's ask you, will the Seahawks trade DK Metcalf? It's our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Is DK saying bye-bye? Let us know in the comments section. Eric writes in, where do you think Odell Beckham will sign? Well, he's not coming back to the Baltimore Ravens. We know that much. The Ravens have already said sayonara and said their goodbyes to OBJ. I think that was a bit of a disappointment, the OBJ tenure in Baltimore, as he struggled to stay healthy and really was just inconsistent. I would look out for the Miami Dolphins as a possibility. I wouldn't rule out the New York Jets, maybe the LA Rams. I think he wants to play for a somewhat quality team, a team that's got a chance to contend this year. Those are the teams I'd potentially watch out for of where OBJ could go and make a difference there. Brian Kelly's burner account writes in, could you see the Bills trading Von Miller, and where to? So the thing with the Bills, it's interesting because this is a team that was all in just a couple of years ago, right? Where they looked like at one point in time they had the best roster in the league, 1 through 53. Josh Allen gets paid, and then everyone else has kind of got to go. And the Bills have pretty much missed on their championship window. They've had to reset this thing. You move on from Stephon Diggs, try to get something while you can. Some of the other players like Jordan Poyer and others, they've had to say goodbye to as well. I think Von Miller, if you're the Buffalo Bills, it might not be a bad time to potentially trade him and try to get something out of him while you can, because Von Miller's on the back end of his prime now. He's struggled to stay healthy a bit, and he's not a part of the long-term future of the Buffalo Bills. I think the Ravens could be a potential good fit for him. I wouldn't rule out him possibly going back to Los Angeles, going to the Rams as a possibility, potentially for Von Miller there. I think Von Miller would have a lot of potential suitors for his services if he were to hit the trade market. You know, the Dallas Cowboys come to mind as well as a potential team for Von Miller. I think with him being on the back end with the injury issues, he wouldn't cost you a ton in a trade either. I'm not ruling out this possibility the Bills move on from Von Miller. Let's ask you, should the Bills trade Von Miller? Type T for trade, K for keep. Is it time for the Bills to move on from Von Miller, get what they can out of him? Let us know. NFL rookie jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. And I got to tell you, these jerseys are awesome. We have all your favorite rookies across the National Football League, from Caleb Williams to Drake May to Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and more. Support your favorite team and your favorite rookie. Maybe you're a college fan that wants to get a jersey of your now NFL player that you're going to be rooting for. Maybe your NFL team, you just love the pick that they made. We got them all for you in one place. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. And we have all sorts of varieties as well, from the home and away uniforms, men's and women's jerseys as well, all sorts to choose from. So go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey to get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. NC Show writes in, do you think Hendrickson will be traded? And if yes, where do you think that he will end up? So it's interesting. You know, you look at Hendrickson, and, you know, the Cincinnati Bengals, kind of similar to the Buffalo Bills in that their window is closing, right? I think this is kind of the last hoorah, if you will, for the Cincinnati Bengals before all that money with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and others. You know, T. Higgins is probably gone. They've already said goodbye to Joe Mixon and company. With Trey Hendrickson, I think there's a decent chance he gets traded. I think it's more likely he gets traded than T. Higgins does. I would look at the Atlanta Falcons as a potential destination. Teams that are looking for help at that position, the Los Angeles Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Detroit Lions, the Denver Broncos, all I think are certainly possible that could be in the market to get a guy like Hendrickson. So we'll see. That's who I have in mind there as far as that goes. But thanks for that question on that front. All right, another question coming in from Donkey's Teeth writes in, is Deebo Samuel or Brandon Aiyuk going to get traded from the 49ers? Deebo Samuel is the one that's more likely, I think, to potentially get traded than Brandon Aiyuk is. We saw that Brandon Aiyuk was better than Deebo Samuel this past year. And the 49ers don't have the money to be able to afford both receivers. With the money they're paying Bosa, with the money they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy here down the line, it's getting expensive on the receiver front. When St. Brown of the Lions got paid $30+ million, that was kind of a red flag to the rest of the league that receivers are not going to be cheap, and they already were pretty expensive. I think that Deebo's probably the odd man out. He's got more mileage than most receivers around his age because he played some running back as well for San Francisco. So I think Deebo's potentially the odd man out. Plus, you drafted Ricky Pearsall from Florida, the wide receiver there. You don't make that pick if you're not moving on from one of your receivers. I think they ultimately move on from Deebo there, potentially before the season. But based on the way the money works, I would think it's probably like a June 1, post-June 1 trade as far as Deebo goes. A few more questions on the docket here today. Let's go to this one from Merrill Garrett writes in. What tackles are still on the free agent market? Donovan Smith is out there. He's a possibility. David Bakari, DJ Humphreys, just to name a few. Donovan Smith is probably the best one out there. But it is getting slim. It's slim pickings when it comes to these potential tackles that are available to sign. Last question in the mailbag this week from Alex, whatever it is, says, do the Bears make the playoffs next year? I do believe the Bears are going to be a playoff team in 2024. I am skeptical when it comes to Eberflus, their head coach. I didn't like the OC hire of Shane Waldron, but the talent is just too good. I think Caleb Williams is walking into a very good situation. And it's so unlike what Justin Fields had to deal with, right? Justin Fields kind of laid the groundwork, right? He walked so Caleb Williams could run, if you will. And you look at what Caleb Williams has now with Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. They got good running game. Defense needs a bit of work, but the foundation is there for the Bears. There's no excuse. They should be a playoff team. I think they'll be a wild card in this upcoming playoff. Before we go, one final question here for our audience. Name a player that will get traded this offseason. We talked about several of them here on today's show. Who do you think is gone? Way in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Subscribe now for free. Lock us in, and we'll see you next time here on the channel.